Hi everyone and welcome to today's live Ieelts class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope all of you are having a lovely weekend and I hope all of you are having a fantastic last day of 2022. For many of you, the last few hours of 2022. For me, I've still got a bit to go. It's still 7:30. Here we are some of the last people in the world to welcome in the new year of 2023 here. So you are mostly in the future compared to me. Students, in this class we are looking at Ieelts speaking part 3, talking about nature. This is continuing from our previous part 2 class that just finished 30 minutes ago. Chayani, Sunantha, Domenico Karina had some nice part 2 answers for us in the last class, and we'll be looking for some more of our regular students, members, premium members to be volunteering later in this class. Welcome Sarah, our chat moderator, helping everybody out, making sure that the class stays on track and stays productive. Welcome to all of our members. Prima, Rokeya, Harjat, Mohammed, Zvipi, nice to see many students in the class. That is fantastic. This lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic Ieelts. Visit us there. For general Ieelts, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Those are the websites, the textbooks, the materials, the tools we use for these live Ieelts sessions. So if you like joining these classes, be sure to check out the websites. Join our premium package. This is aehelp.com. Click that big red button there just above my head. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. When you click that button, you can use the code LEARN10 for a 10% discount. Check out the price in your region of the world. The price changes depending on where you are in the world. So check it out. Use the premium package every day to improve your language, your communication, and of course your Ieelts scores. This is gieltshelp.com here. Prashant, thank you so much. Yeah, we just reached 2 million subscribers a couple of days ago. That was quite a positive way to finish the 2022 year. That was, yeah, it was awesome. We did a kind of a special class for that. We have apps, everybody. You can check those out in your app stores. Academic Ieelts Help for academic Ieelts. These apps will link to the websites. General Ieelts Help for the general Ieelts. Get the apps and click I think it's the More button. You can click and then you can link to your web account, which is really cool. And you can also follow us on Instagram. Of course, people love IG. Ieelts_AEHelp, Ieelts Help. We've got Reels, we've got vocab, we've got other goodies for you there. If you have any questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. We like getting emails. We like helping people with their questions. So don't be shy. Send us a question. And if you want a book at home that you can open up, you can order our books from Amazon. A helps academic Ieelts and G helps general Ieelts. Just search for those and you'll see we have a couple of exam books for the general and for the academic. Students, schedule for the first week of 2023. Exciting times. I'm hoping 2023 will be a great year for everyone. Positive attitude, optimism, that's what we need in the world today. All right. So we've got speaking, writing, reading coming up next week. And we also have a speaking class on the 8th that will be on Discord. We're the official partners with Ieelts Prep. Ieelts Prep is a group of students who practice Ieelts together. I think there's about 10,000 members on, it's called Discord Ieelts Prep. And we'll do a full speaking session on the 8th there. So check that out. We also release videos regularly on YouTube and on our websites, so make sure to keep up with those. Definitely subscribing to our YouTube channel. I mean, 2 million people do, so it's a good reason to be a subscriber, to get materials, to get help, to know when the schedules are coming out for the next week of learning. All right, so IELTS Part 3 questions, I'm going to just kind of separate these out a little bit, and we're going to get into them. Now, we did Part 2 last class, so this class we're focusing on Part 3 questions. Part 3 technically is the most challenging part of the IELTS speaking interview because it's specific, and they're detailed questions that apply to most humans. So the planning part in Part 2 is very important. And when you start to go into Part 3, so you're going through Part 2, you're getting into Part 3, you need to really focus your mind on the topic of Part 2. So here we're talking about nature. Before I go too deep into the lesson, let me ask you this question. When somebody brings up the topic of nature, what comes to mind? So what kind of terms, what kind of ideas? Just put them into the chat. Yeah, we'll do speaking on Discord, Andrew. Yeah, it's fun. We've done it lots in the past too. Harjot says trees. Good. Romelia says protect the environment. Protect or save the environment. Yeah, and as I said, I think that's a really good thought to go into 2023. Nawaf says the jungle. Absolutely. Cool Sommer says greenery. Birds. Animals. Sure. Flora. Fauna. If you're seeing any new vocabulary, make sure to write it down. Sarkisha says panoramic view. We don't need panoramic view, we just need panorama. Okay? Try to be concise with your language. Yeah, natural features like mountains, waterfalls. Mountains, we can say mountain range. Right? Like the Himalayas. Very nice, Anwar. Anwar says ecosystem, landscape. The circle of life, Elton John. The circle of life. Ecosystem. Right? Soil, Mohammed says. The earth. The Lion King. Right. The savannah. Pollution as well, right? Unfortunately, it's a big part of it these days. Pollution, land, air, water. Okay. Domenico says, unflinchingly extol the virtues of preserving the fragile biosphere. Well, that's a mouthful. Biosphere. Yes, the biosphere. I think if people are watching the new Avatar, right, they're getting some ideas about this. I think Avatar is really targeting this concept of, in a fantasy world, of living in harmony with nature. Right? Okay, great. So you're getting lots of ideas. I love it. So we've got lots of people in the chat. We've got lots of people thinking now. Fantastic. So we can get into a bit of IELTS speaking part 3. Now, when you're doing speaking, what you want to think about, okay, you want to keep your thinking broad. And what you want to do is you want to focus, and you want to focus on giving an answer, explanation, and example. Okay? So you give your answer, then you continue with because, and then you continue with an example. Like, or just. or just give the example. Okay? All right. So don't overthink it. Do not overthink your answers. It's the Ieelts. It's not your master's dissertation. Okay? So Ieelts part 3, the examiner says, let's talk about nature. And then they start with their first question. What do you think is the best description of nature? Use the question. I think, because it's your opinion, I'm going to give an answer. Give me some answers, students. So in the chat, give me some answers, okay? Let me know how you would answer this question, and then we'll compare it. I will show you some Band 9 example answers, okay? And I'm coming up with the answers just like you, spontaneously. All I'm doing is applying some very specific strategies. Like I'm using the question, I'm thinking answer, explanation, example. So I think the ideal definition of nature is all plants, animals, and natural features found on the surface of Earth, including humans, insects, forests, mountains, and the oceans, as these are all part of the great biosphere which make life possible. Without the algae or without humans, this would all greatly change. Right? Okay, so here's my answer. Is this my only definition of nature? No, it's just the one I thought of right now. Okay. Here's my explanation. Okay. And then here's my example. All right, so I think, and again, repeat after me. Students, this is speaking, so I want you to speak and repeat. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. I speak with a Canadian West Coast, North American accent. So people in Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, San Diego, they all kind of speak with a similar type of accent as me. And Hollywood films, very similar. So speak and repeat, copy my intonation, pronunciation, fluency. For those of you who are intermediate to advanced level in the English, try to copy from just listening without reading, okay? Copy the questions and the answers as well, okay? What do you think is the best description of nature? I think the ideal definition of nature is all plants, animals, and natural features found on the surface of Earth, including humans, insects, forests, mountains, and oceans, as these are all part of the great biosphere which make life possible. Without the algae or without humans, this would all greatly change. Okay? So notice a couple of interesting points here too. I don't say and so on. Okay, Band 8, Band 9 are all about good communication. So I don't say and so on. And I don't say for example. I just give it. Why don't I say and so on? What do you think? All right. While you tell me that answer, I'm going to look at some of your responses in the chat. So Harjot, let's take a look at what you've written. Okay, this is Harjot here. We'll take a look at what Shaknaz has written as well. Let's take a look at what Domenico has written as well. Okay. All right. So why is it not a good idea to say and so on? Think about that for a second while I'm showing you this. Okay. Yeah, Chani says it's confusing. They don't know the information. Yeah, exactly. You need to be specific and confident. Yeah. And professors will tell you this as well in your writing. Don't write things like etc. or and so on. It has no value. It's like, why are you telling me that? I can think about the and so on without you telling me the and so on, right? So on could be anything, exactly. Prerna, not pre. I keep thinking it's prima, but now I can see it's Prerna, Malhotra. Yeah, it's not specific. It's just, it's vague. It's weak, right? Okay, so here we go. Harjat says, I think nature is a most beautiful creation of God where everyone is really, where everybody relies on each other, okay? Harjat, that's one sentence, okay? Nature is small n. So I think nature is the, not it's the, because it's unique if you say that it's the most, right? So the most beautiful creation of God where we're all living creatures. Instead of everyone usually refers to humans, all living creatures. All life is reliant on each other. Okay. It includes many different creatures in its various parts, like humans, sea creatures, sea animals. Let's not repeat creatures. All with their own abilities. And contributions. Okay, Harjat, that's better. So I'm correcting it from, like, let's say a band 5 to a band 8. Okay. Harjat, try it. I think nature is the most beautiful creation of God where all life is reliant on each other. It includes many different creatures in its various parts, like humans, sea animals, all with their own abilities and contributions. Shaknaz, nature is the essential and ultimate source of our life. With human and other living elements are the children of nature. With humanity, okay, here we want the word humanity, and all other life as the children of nature. Sure, here I might use the word offspring of, and instead of nature, Shaknaz, because you're repeating nature, you don't want to be circular, the definition of Mother Earth. Okay, so that's the way I would do it, Shaknaz. It's a little bit short, so this would be a correction of a band 4 to band 7. So now it's accurate. So we've bumped it to a band 7 with a little bit more specific vocabulary without redundancy. So it's like this. Nature is the essential and ultimate source of life, with humanity and other creatures as offspring of Mother Earth. Yeah, let's correct it further. Okay. Bai, we don't use a lot of proverbs in our speaking in the sense of using it to get high marks, okay? Everybody who's taking Ieelts needs to stop thinking about having to use a lot of proverbs or idioms for high marks, okay? I want you to focus on using good English, all right? Domenico says, I suppose the best definition of nature is all that is not impacted by an often recited litany of human-caused disturbances, such as the bustling and beautiful coral reefs, which are described as the birthplace of life itself. Domenico, you're telling me what kind of nature is not students, when you're writing and when you're speaking in the Ieelts, always approach it from positive argument rather than from the side of it is what it is not, right? Because that is confusing logic, right? So if I say nature is everything besides plastic and man-made manufactured goods, I haven't really described what nature is, okay? So always focus on what something is rather than what it is not. That's important advice for good communication, okay? It's actually a very common mistake for people to do this. So always focus on describing and answering ideas from the positive perspective rather than the negative. Think about what something is rather than what it is not. Does that make sense? I've seen people do that, for example, in their writing assignments as well, where the question will say, why should people do this? And then instead of saying why somebody should do that, they say, okay, well, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that, so they should do that. And it's kind of like, okay, so you've told me what people shouldn't do, but you haven't really told me why somebody should do that, right? Do you get what I'm saying? An example I often use to make this clear is you have two houses for sale, right? And the purchaser, the buyer, is going, okay, asking the realtor, asking the sellers, well, which house should I buy? And the realtor says, well, you should buy this house because the other house is too expensive. The rooms are quite small, and it has a small backyard, okay? It's like, okay, so you've told me why I shouldn't buy that house, but you haven't actually told me why I should buy the other house. I can't assume that I should buy the other house because it has large rooms, right? Maybe it also has small rooms, it's just cheaper. So, but maybe it's not. Maybe the realtor just likes the paint on the walls more, right? So always focus on arguing for an idea by supporting it with positive facts, okay? It's an important point. It's an important point. And that can easily lead to better band scores on your writing and your speaking, okay? Yeah, Baya, the content for the cue card matters a lot. Okay. All right. Let's take one more here. So let's take another question here. So the examiner, okay, let's talk about nature. Why has humanity had such a negative impact on nature in the past several centuries? Good question, right? You can even start with that. Good question. I firmly believe that people have created a great deal of destruction and pollution, mainly because of industrialization and overpopulation. The pressure on nature for providing raw materials to make all of the plastic, metal, and wood products have decimated forests and oceans. As a result, the world is in peril. The earth has lost 60% of its forests since the 1600s. Okay, there's my answer. Again, looking for your answers as well. All right. So why has humanity had such a negative impact on nature in the past several centuries? I'm really paying attention to the question. I'm really paying attention to each detail of the question, and it's a good question, okay? So as I said, going into 2023, this is the question we should be asking, not who's fighting a war where and how is the stock market doing. So good question. I firmly believe that people have created a great deal of destruction and pollution, mainly because of industrialization and overpopulation. Industrialization means creating factories and machines to produce large amounts of goods. Okay? The pressure on nature for providing raw materials to make all of the plastic, metal, wood products have decimated forests and oceans. As a result, the world is in peril. Peril means a great deal of trouble. Okay? The earth has lost 60% of its forests since the 1600s. All right, so again, answer, explanation, example. Okay. Andrew has an answer for us. Let's see what Andrew has. One of our regular newer members who is doing a fantastic job keeping up with his studies. Good. Andrew says, people have been preoccupied with short-term financial gains rather than sustainable future of humanity. Continuing to this day, use of fossil fuels is a great example of that. I believe that the only way to save the day is to restructure society entirely so individuals as well as companies are no longer obsessed with profit. Okay, Andrew, good English. You'll get a band 7 for that. We need to make the content better to make it a band 9. To make it a band 9, we need to fix a couple of small mistakes and we need to improve the content a bit. So this is good English. Can anybody tell me any of the minor mistakes or the content mistakes that Andrew has here? Okay, let's do a little bit of peer review. Peer review is really good practice, okay? So help me with the peer review. Think with the mind of the examiner. Take a look at Andrew's answer. Andrew's answer is a good one to look at because it's a band 7, so it's a solid score, but there's still a couple of places to improve this. What is it? Titan says, save the future instead of save the day. Save the day is an expression, so it's good. No, this is good. Okay, I'm going to highlight the good parts in green. So this is good. Save the day is good. It means it's an expression, it's an idiom, which means to fix the situation. So it's fine. There's nothing wrong there. Ashutosh says predetermined. No, preoccupied is good. So it's actually very nice vocabulary here. Preoccupied means fixated on or too focused, too concentrating on. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, Fwang says maybe a little bit off topic. I agree, Fwang. So here, it's a bit off topic. So you're jumping the gun a bit here, Andrew. This is the follow-up question, okay? There is a follow-up question that's coming. It's what can people do today to help save the environment? But you won't see that question in the real exam until the examiner asks you. So don't jump the gun. Don't go off topic. So this part is off topic. Absolutely, Fwang. Okay? All right? So there's something else that we could do instead there. Okay? What else? Let's see. Anybody catch another one here? I'll show you a couple of other slight mistakes. And the difference between a band 7 and a band 9 is not a lot. It's just a little bit, okay? So people have been preoccupied with short-term financial gains rather than there's a missing the here, unless I accidentally didn't copy it. The sustainable future, because it's a unique future that we're talking about. So it's the sustainable future of humanity because of poor moral and ethical values like materialism. above all else. So, okay, Andrew's going, really? Wow, I have to do that for a band 9? Yeah, so you can do it another way, Andrew, but what I have here is a missing reason, right? So why is it that humans have become so preoccupied with financial gains? And, you can talk about greed and other reasons, but you need to tell the reason, right? And then instead of answering the off-topic question, we want to give the example that supports the explanation, okay? So your example should always support the explanation, okay? Certain people are worried more about buying a larger boat. If we want to be more specific, yacht, than saving the Amazon jungle for their grandchildren to enjoy. Okay, so that would be the example supporting the argument. Does that make sense, Andrew? Yeah, they won't ask you the question together, Andrew. It will be. I know you figured that, but they won't ask you the question together. They'll ask it apart. Okay, it'll be one and then a follow up. So when you see those practice sheets for the Ieelts and you see in part 3 the 2 questions are kind of together, they will ask you those questions apart from each other, okay? So they're not going to ask you double questions. They'll ask you one question at one time. So they will say like this, okay? They will go, why has humanity had such a negative impact on nature in the past several centuries? And then the answer will be, and you can repeat after me, people have been preoccupied with short-term financial gains rather than the sustainable future of humanity because of poor moral and ethical values like materialism above all else. Certain people are worried about buying a larger yacht than saving the Amazon jungle for their grandchildren to enjoy. Or continuing the use of fossil fuels to this day. Is a bit better way, Andrew, to say it. And you can say such as here. Continuing, and then it's connected, Andrew. Then you're right, that example is connected. Such as continuing the use of fossil fuels to this day rather than converting to solar power. Yeah, it's a great example of that. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Good. And then comes the follow-up question. So the follow-up question would be, what can people do today to help save the environment? And then your answer there, Andrew, could be, I believe the only way to save the day is to restructure society entirely so individuals as well as companies are no longer obsessed with a profit and material possessions. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, good. All right. Mainul has a different answer here. Mainul, just once, okay, with the answer. So students, again, just one time, all right? If I see the question just one time, it's fine. I will catch it. All right, Mainul says, great question. People have been using nature to improve their lifestyle by destroying the forests and land, which cause great damage. Temperature has increased 1 degree over the last century. More. It's more than 1 degree over the last century, but I think it's 1 degree per every year or 10 years or something now. It's quite drastic. Anyway, the answer is good. Okay, it's about a band 7 as well. you want to give a little bit more detail to do a bit better. Let's do that. Let's practice that. So let's practice speaking, giving clear details, clear examples, explanations. Let's do that through the website. So I want to finish the year strong. I want to finish the year hearing you talk to me. You can volunteer to speak with me, and I'm sure Sarah will lend a hand here and put the instructions into the chat. So now that you know what to do, let's practice it. We're going to use the website. I put the link for the website into the chat. The website has the chat interface for us to get into discussion. Log into your My Student account if you have one already, and then click on Student Partner Speaking. Wait for me there. Students, while you wait, so for those of you who have accounts, while you wait, try the system with other people. Make sure it works before you connect to me, okay? All right. So we are going to, you can use this website. You can use the general IELTS help website also. It uses the same chat interface as the academic one. This is ahelp.com, the academic one. You can join our premium IELTS course, which is a great idea if you're in these live classes all the time. Click that big red button that's above my head, join the premium course, and you will have some of the best material in the world to prepare you for IELTS. Then you click on your My Student account. And in your My Student account, you have computer-based practice exams, a full interactive course, lesson videos, workbooks, lots more audio CDs. And you also have this Student Partner Speaking. Click on that. Click on the Student Partner Speaking. And once you're there, you will see tons of people in here. So Dewey is in here. Nice to see you in here, Dewey. Mizad, Fuang, Chayani, Samir, Prerna, maybe we'll have Romelia in here as well. I hope so, that we'll have lots of our members and other students joining in. And then you volunteer. You will see I'm in here too. I'm in here as master, so that's my handle in here, so it's easy to see. And click on that, click I want to volunteer, okay? And then we can connect. Dewey, how are you? Are you ready? Let's reach out to Dewey. Hopefully he's there. Okay.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Dewey?
I'm doing pretty well too. Thanks for asking.
And may I ask, are you currently in France for the new year?
Yeah, I'm still in Paris. Actually, I just finished my vacation.
Okay.
I went near the Alps in southern France for a week, 1 week, and now I'm back in Paris.
You were in southern France. Where exactly were you in southern France?
I were near the Alps. I went skiing.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I love skiing. That's great. Do you ski or do you snowboard?
Ski. Well,
Yeah.
It was my first time, so it was amazing.
Did you get the hang of it? Were you able to go down the slopes?
Yeah, I was able to go down a little bit without breaking my ankle. So.
Yeah, let alone a person's neck. That's great, Dewey. I'm really glad you got that experience in life, because I think it's just awesome. It's a sublime kind of experience. So good for you. All right, Dewey. Well, any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to embark on a new educational journey. I want to do some mathematical degree.
Okay.
Alongside with my work, and then I will pass my IELTS exam in April, I think.
Okay, Dewey. Wow. Sarah's asking where is he, because Sarah's in France as well. Sarah's in Marseille, right, Sarah?
Oh.
I hope I pronounced that correctly. Our chat moderator. Okay. So Dewey's in Paris, and you're working as an engineer there, right, Dewey?
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, Dewey, let me ask you a few part 3 questions and give me some nice full sentence answers. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'll try.
All right, here we go. So let's talk about nature. What do you think is the best definition of nature?
I think the best definition of nature would be everything surround us, like trees and rivers, the forest, and without that, humans cannot survive and cannot develop and construct our society for as we have for today.
Why has humanity had such a negative impact on nature in the past several centuries?
Given the development of the industrialization and the ever-growing population in the world, people have used a lot of natural resources to develop our society in the past decades, and with the unethical and the overuse without unsustainable strategy, humans have accidentally caused a lot of damage to our nature, and we are having.
What can people do to save the environment?
I think the best course for human would be to develop a more sustainable strategy of the use of nature resources, and to develop and to promote a more sustainable and a more eco-friendly use of our nature resource, and plant more trees, and use more and plant more trees, and
okay, let's stop there. I'm going to stop you there. Tricky topic, right? It really gets you thinking. Okay, so that would be so that would be about it was not from having a couple of conversations with you in the past, Dewey. I think this was on the weaker side. So you definitely want to practice talking about, topics that might not be as close to home for you, because you want to have the same level of fluency and confidence no matter what comes up in part 3, and you never know what comes up in part 3. So that response, because I know in the past I've graded you as high as a band 8, and I think here I would grade you closer to a band 7. I can still tell that you have really good fluency, pronunciation, extremely good vocabulary, but I do feel that you're lacking some confidence and such in this topic. And for the Ieelts, that doesn't matter, right? Band 9 is expert. That means that whatever topic comes up, you can give your opinion and it will sound like you're giving a lecture on that topic. So to get those band 9, to get close to those band 9s, you have to sound like you're giving a lecture. Let me give you a little bit of advice to move you in that direction. Firstly, I'm sure everybody is hearing how Dewey is taking a bit of time to think before each answer. So using especially that natural filler, the Okay, so you're going which immediately tells me that this is a thinking topic for you. And that's fine. So for everybody out there, there's some really weird videos and instructions online that say you should never use natural fillers like and ah. It's not true. Okay, everybody does that in their own language or in a second language. It's okay to do that as long as you're using it to think of the answer and not think of vocabulary or grammar. It's fine. Okay, so I said, what do you think is the best description of nature? You said, I think the best definition of nature is everything surround us. Everything here, the correct way to say that, Dewey, would be everything around us. Okay. It's a tough definition. I'm pretty sure if we looked up the definition of nature in the dictionary, it wouldn't give us that definition, although I could be wrong, but usually dictionaries are a little bit more precise than that. So anytime that you're thinking about defining a concept, and this is for everybody, it's not just for Dewey, think about what the dictionary might say. Okay? And it doesn't have to be accurate. Your definition doesn't have to be my definition, but it has to be a clear definition. Everything around us is unclear. Like here, if we were at a coffee shop as friends, Dewey, I would ask you, what are you talking about? Like trees, forests, mountains, oceans? Or are you also including like the moon, the stars, the universe? So what do you mean by everything around us, right? It's unclear. You'd have to define that more. So be specific. So I think the best definition of nature, it's totally okay to use the question like that, verbatim, almost word for word. It's okay to do that. Is everything around us. As soon as you realize that you've given unclear information, you can do this, Dewey. I mean, the trees, rivers, and forests that are observable in everyday life. Okay, so a little bit greater clarity there, because, and then why, right? So you always think about the reason, Dewey. Why? So why is everything around us a part of nature, Dewey? What do you think?
Because nature has existed for a long time ago, and it was the baseline for our development.
Sure. I will simplify it because it all comes from Mother Earth.
Yeah.
That's what people forget. Even their very, very fancy cell phones are just sand, oil, and other elements that are cleverly constructed from Mother Earth, right? So because it all comes from Mother Earth. Sure. So don't forget the reason. Always think reason, even if you don't include an example. And you know, Dewey, a lot of question, or a very popular question that I get from people is, do I always have to include an example? No, you don't. Examples, usually it's clear, the questions that need an example or sound better with an example, but you don't need to have one for every question. However, you should be thinking about an explanation for every question in part 1 and part 3. Got it, Dewey?
Okay, thank you.
All right, that's super important. Explanations are super important for part 1 and part 3. And part 2 as well, but that should be intrinsic. So then I asked you the next question, why has humanity had such a negative impact? And you said, given the development of industrialization and the growing population of the world, people have used a lot of natural resources to develop their societies. And then you said unintentionally they have created a lot of damage. I disagree with you, Dewey. I don't think it was unintentional. I think humans knew what they were doing. They meant to do it. Does it matter? No. Am I going to give you a bad mark because I disagree with your opinion? Absolutely not. Okay. What matters most is that you're giving me an explanation. All right.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Okay, and then I said, what can people do today to help save the environment? And you said, I think the best course for humans would be to develop more sustainable strategies to use natural resources. Sustainable strategy, that's really good vocabulary. You said more eco-friendly use of plants and animals, planting more trees. And then you kind of started to swim into the great ocean of knowledge and ideas, and I got lost there, right?
Yeah, I ran out of ideas.
Okay, that's where you want to either give an example or give one last idea and then just stop talking, okay? So something like, and recycle, and stop talking, okay? Yep. So repeat after me. More eco-friendly use of plants, more trees, and recycle.
A more friendly use of plant, more trees, and recycle.
Nice. I loved how you realized that you copy the inflection that I'm using there, because that's what a native English speaker does, right? When they kind of realize they're going off into la la land and they need to finish what they're saying, then they will inflect something at the end and recycle. And then boom, stop. So usually it's a deflection at the end of sentences, but when I'm showing the listener that I'm done and that's it, I'll inflect a word. So I'll say, and recycle. Okay, very good. That was very good copying. Dewey, thank you for giving me the chance to explain all of those interesting points to the students, okay?
Yeah, as usual. Thank you very much, Adrian, for your feedback.
You're very welcome. Have a great rest of the new year, Dewey.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So let's take another volunteer. Fuang, I know I promised you last class because you were very, very patient. Yes, you can. Are you ready? Okay, so we're using the website here, everybody. And I'm figuring our numbers and volunteers are dwindling because many of you are getting ready for a New Year's celebration, or you're maybe already well into it. Yes, sir. Good. I wonder if anybody will have champagne popping in the background while we're doing this. Okay, Fong. Yeah, Vietnam says everyone's setting off fireworks. Hi, Fong.
Hi, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great because I will have a New Year party with my family tonight.
Awesome. What time is it for you?
It's almost 11:30 in Vietnam.
Oh, wow. So you're just 30 minutes away from 2023.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So you're getting one last volunteer session in before. That's great. Do you also hear fireworks in the background?
No, I think 12 p.m. The fireworks will explode.
Okay. All right, Fong. And any New Year's resolutions?
Yes, I have to get a band 8 in IELTS this year.
Okay, that is a fantastic. It's a good target, Fong. I think that's a good target. Okay, let me ask you a few questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
All right. Why has humanity had such a negative impact on nature in the past several centuries?
Well, nature has been affected by plenty of negative impact by humans in the past couple of hundred decades. There's more and more factory, public transport like car, buses that lead the environment into deep air pollution. As a result, the habitats will be unbalanced and damaged.
What can people do today to help save the environment?
Well, there's dozens of ways to tackle the problem of pollution that come to my mind right now are not only the government raise their citizen awareness to consume less fossil fuel, but also divide purpose into 3R: reuse, reduce, and recycle to make the nature more better.
Why is it important to save the environment?
It's a, it's vital to protect the environment because if we don't take care of it, we will have less of it. With the global warming in many places like the North Pole and South Pole, as well the air pollution that leads humans into lung cancer, humans must take some steps to reduce the pollution on Earth as soon as possible.
What can happen if humanity does not take care of its natural surroundings?
I just mentioned, if we don't take care of our environment, we will have less of it, and the exploitations of pollution will damage our Earth in the next 1 decade. I think so.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. All right. Good. Fuang, that was great. So you're heading in the right direction. I think you've got a solid band 7 there for sure. You've got good English. So you're fluent and you're making sense and you're giving me good answers, okay? More details, little bit more work with the pronunciation, a little bit more vocabulary, and I think you'll be just fine. Your grammar is fantastic, by the way, for the most part. So just a couple of slight oddities, but mostly it's very, very good. Okay, let me reflect on your answers a little bit. So why has humanity had such a negative impact on nature in the past several centuries? You did a good job of remembering that we're talking about the past several centuries here. Okay, that's important to include, right? That's a part of the question. So however, make sure that you're accurate with it. You said past couple hundred decades. 100 decades is 1,000 years. Couple hundred decades is 2,000 years. 2,000 years ago, people weren't so bad with the environment. There weren't that many humans, and we were still kind of throwing sticks and stones at each other in some sense. So it wasn't quite that bad. I mean, although Europe probably already had some good deforestation, but I think what you meant here is past couple of 100 years, not decades, right, Phuong?
Okay, sir.
Right. To avoid that, you can say past 400 or 500 years, or past 300-400 years. Okay. And I really liked your use of the correlative conjunction. I want to emphasize the good points too. So take note, everybody. Phuong used the not only, but also correlative conjunction. That was really good. So you said not only the government can help reduce fossil fuels, but also people can pay attention to the 3 R's of recycling: recycle, reduce, reuse. That was fantastic. That was brilliant English. So I was like, oh, okay, you're really giving me some nice language here. I think we mentioned that in one of our past videos as well, and maybe you watched that video, Phuong, but it's good that you're learning that, because that's fantastic. Okay, that was really good. And then I asked you this question down here. Why is it important to save the environment? You said it's vital to protect the environment because if we don't take care of it, we will have less of it. Nice use of the conditional. Then you went off into a specific example like global warming in the North and South Pole. And then I asked you the follow-up question. Progress your thoughts, okay? This is for everybody. So Phuong, you always want to think a step further, and then think even a step further, right? So what can happen if we don't take care of our natural surroundings? Be bold, be brave, Phuong. Ultimately, what do you think will happen to humans and the planet if we don't take care of the environment?
Well, I suppose the human will be not exist on the earth.
Okay, good. Yeah, exactly. So be brave, take that step. It's the reality. How do we say if something does not exist on the earth? What do we say? One word in English. Starts with an E.
Extinction.
Yeah, it will be global extinction. Absolutely. People need to I think take responsibility for the reality of this. I think one reason we're at this stage is because we're kind of scared to admit that this is where we're going if we don't stop. So in 2023, we want to save the environment. So you can be bold. You can say if people do not take action to save the environment, many species, including humanity, will most likely become extinct. Okay, you can say that.
Okay, sir.
All right.
If if people do not take action to save the environment, many species, including humanity, will most likely become extinct.
Yeah. Okay, the examiner will say that's great use of vocabulary. All right, Phuong, I hope you have an awesome New Year's celebration there with your family, and I hope you have a fantastic start to 2023.
Okay, sir, I really appreciate it. Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year to you too. Lots of luck. Bye for now, Phuong. All right, that was Phuong getting very close to New Year's. She's just 30 minutes out from New Year's. So I guess people in Vietnam are close to New Year's. So everybody in Vietnam and in that time zone, a very happy New Year's to you. That's coming up very soon. Let's try somebody else. Samir from Nepal. Samir says, I want to volunteer. Samir, are you there? Let's see if Samir is there. If Samir is there, then we'll reach out to Samir. Samir, small letters. I think you're stuck on caps lock. All right. Hi, Samir. I see that you picked up. Can you hear me? can see India is just a couple hours from New Year's as well. I'm guessing much of Eastern Asia, China and such, they're already in 2023. Australia has been in 2023 for a long time. Samir, if you're there, let me know. I can't hear you. You're going to have to check your settings, your microphone, test it out with somebody else, and then come back in the new year to see what's going on. Prerna, let's see if Prerna's there. Prerna, are you ready? Irani says New Zealand is in 2023. Absolutely, Irani, no question there. Well into 2023 on Sunday. I'm far. I still have a whole day. I still have breakfast to go here. I'm in 2022 in Western Canada. Mr. Mike, you got to go to our website, aehelp.com, to get on the list. Prerna, I just sent you a message. Maybe Prerna's gone for a bottle of champagne. Who knows? All right, let's try somebody else. Let's try Mezad. Are you ready? Thank you, by the way, Mezad, for the New Year wishes. I see that. I wish you a Happy New Year 2023 to you and your family, health, wealth, prosperity. All right.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Mezad. I can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. How are you, sir?
Hi, Mezad. I'm good. I'm good as well. Thank you for the New Year's wishes, Mezad. That's fantastic.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
flattered.
Wish you the same to you and your entire family, sir.
Thank you, and to you and your family as well. Mezad, where are you right now?
I'm from India, sir. I'm from India, Mumbai.
Mumbai. So you've got 2 hours to New Year's.
Absolutely.
Are you doing a New Year's party?
Yet I've not decided anything.
Okay. All right. Well, let me tell you, your attitude is fantastic. It's almost New Year's and you're still studying. I feel you have a very successful year ahead of you with that kind of an attitude. So good for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, Mezad, are you ready for some part 3 questions?
Yes, absolutely. You can ask me, please.
Okay, then let's talk about nature. Why is it important to save the environment?
I think as humans, it is very important because we have only one home, which is our Earth, and we don't have any other planet where we can currently go. So Earth, as a human nature, we need to save this planet for us, and not just for us, but also for our future generations.
What can happen if humanity does not take care of its natural surroundings?
Of course, if humanity won't take care, then of course we will have to face the consequences in the future. And not just us, but also our generations will also have to face the consequences. For example, we all are seeing that global warming is on the rise, and even the increasing levels of sea are also rising. So maybe most of the cities in the near future will submerge also in the ocean. So of course, it's very important to take care of the environment from my point of view.
How much time do you think people have before it's too late to save nature?
I think it might be a decade or so to save the nature, because already we have seen what's happening around the world. We have been gone through various natural calamities and disasters, the tsunami and the wars which are going on currently. So I don't think there is much time left, but if the humanity can act as soon as possible, it might be possible for us that we can save our planet Earth. So it's a very beautiful home and we need to take care of it.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. I think you've done a fantastic job. That was really good. That was really good. That would be a band 8 to 8.5. Okay, if you keep talking like that, I would probably give you an 8.5. So you're almost at. There's a couple of very small, slight oddities that are kind of unnatural. A little bit of redundancy and repetition. maybe a slight kind of off content part with the wars. For example, tsunamis was a good one, but I'm not sure if the war is a result of the destruction of nature. So, but overall, very, very good. Very good use of vocabulary, very natural.
Thank you, sir.
A very effective form of communication here. So I said, why is it important to save the environment? And you said, I think as humans, it is very important because we only have one home. Now, this is, and we can say this is almost cliche. Do you know what that means, cliche? It's a French word.
No, sir, I don't know.
Sarah and Dewey might know what this means, cliche. Cliche looks like this, the word cliche. I definitely recommend looking that up or Googling it for everybody when you have a moment. Cliche is something that is kind of overused, too common, the most frequent answer. A good example of cliche is like when people meet with each other and then they're like, how's the weather? It's like, it's so cliche. It's like everybody asks you, how's the weather when you meet? Or what's your hobby? It's so cliche, right? I like reading books. It's so cliche. So one of the most cliche answers to the question of why is it important to save the environment is, well, we only have one home. It's the earth, right? But you know what? Being cliche on the Ieelts when you're doing it well with good vocabulary is actually very smart strategy. Okay? So...
yeah.
And I'm not saying use templates, okay? Templates and cliches are not the same, okay? So this is not the same as a template. It's very important to understand that. Because a lot of people learn templates for the Ieelts. Like they'll say something like, that's a very good question. Thank you for asking me. Well, it depends. Okay, that's a template. That's not cliche. That just means somebody memorized the sentence online from a video and they're trying to use it in their exam. Those templates get low marks. But good cliches will get you high marks because they're clear, they're easy to understand. We only have one home, which is Mother Earth, is very cliche, but it's very true and it's very good English, okay? And then you said we don't have another planet. Now here, if I'm really going for that band 9 and I'm doing quick visual thinking, I would even reference what a lot of people have as a false hope, right? Like some people have this, I think, insane hope that somehow we're going to move to the moon or Mars if we destroy Earth, which, let's be honest with each other, it's just crazy, right? I mean, the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. Mars doesn't have an atmosphere, right? So it's a long ways before it's, I still think it's much easier to save planet Earth than it is to inhabit Mars or the moon, right? So and we don't have so you could say here, and we don't have another planet. Moving to Mars or the moon is just crazy.
Right.
Or the moon.
I can mention the name of the planets and that can be a good example.
And that gives you good points, absolutely. So moving to Mars or the moon, as some people think, is just crazy. Okay.
Right.
And then you said, and we also need to save it for future generations. That's fine. That's great. Okay. So starting cliche. Okay, this is a good advice for everybody for the Ieelts. Thinking about cliche concepts is a very good idea. Okay. All right. So then I asked you, how much time do you think people have before it is too late to save nature? And you said, I think it might be a decade or so, because we are already seeing what's happening, like the calamities. I love that word, calamities. Yeah. Calamities, it's a very nice piece of vocabulary. It means like the big unintentional negative outcomes of a situation is a calamity. Okay, calamities like tsunamis, earthquakes, droughts, floods. Right, droughts and floods are a good one here.
Yeah.
Because
natural disasters also.
Yeah, so natural disasters, droughts and floods especially. Droughts, by the way, this is vocabulary for everybody. Droughts, do you know what droughts means?
Yeah, dryness. There is no rain or something. Dryness.
Exactly. It's when a place starts to become a desert. Yeah. And floods is the opposite, right? Where there's too much water.
Right.
So,
too much water.
Yeah. So natural disasters. Yeah. Okay, droughts and floods. So make sure that the information matches. Otherwise, you're doing a great job. Okay, that was really nice. Thank you for sharing, Mazad.
Thank you.
All right.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, sir. You have given me more marks this time. Last time I had a time with you, you gave me 6.5, but now today you gave me 8. So I'm really improving, and I really like it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I can't remember exactly what questions you were answering last time, but I remember that you had very good English last time as well. It's just that the quality of your communication wasn't as accurate, and clearly you're improving that. So keep that up, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And I wish you once again a very happy new year 2023 to you and your entire family from my side, sir.
Thank you, Mazad. To you as well. Bye for now.
Bye. Take care, sir.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Yeah, that was really good. And notice, I think one of the things Mazad improved, if I remember correctly, is he's very confident in his answers now. They end very nicely and very clearly. Okay, thumbs up for Mazad. Yeah, absolutely. That was great. Okay. I can see some people in the chat now are starting to get into a happy mood. Chayani, a crazy New Year resolution, moving to Mars. Yeah. Well, if you're Elon Musk, right? Just imagine people, how much resources it takes to get a few people to Mars. In order to create the necessary fuel to get, let's say, 2 people to Mars, that amount of resources to get that spaceship to Mars is probably enough for a city of 20,000 people for the next 10 years. Okay? So, people need to think. We're dreamers, and that's a beautiful part of humanity, being dreamers. But come on, really? Like, how much oil do we have to refine, and how much material do we have to burn up just to make a spaceship that's powerful enough to get a person to Mars? And what could we do with that if we use it smarter, right? Interesting thoughts for everybody. Okay, Samir, let's give Samir. Samir, do you want to try again? Did you fix it? Did you fix your setup? I think one good New Year's resolution is second chances, people. If somebody deserves a second chance, give it to them, right? We all deserve a second chance. Samir, if you think that you fixed what's going on your end, I can call you again, okay? Let's try this. Hello, Samir. Still no audio, Samir. I still can't hear you. So if you can hear me, and not through YouTube, but through the actual website, that means you've enabled your audio. It's just something with your microphone. If you can't hear me, Samir, it means that neither your audio nor your microphone are working. So likely it's either with the connection, your location, your IP location, or your audio setup in your browser. That's what you want to troubleshoot, okay? All right, Samir, the good news is I will give you a third and a fourth chance in the coming classes in the new year. Just make sure to come back and volunteer, okay? All right, everybody, I don't want to take more of your time. I know that a lot of you are getting ready for the New Year's, and that is fantastic. I will let you go with some positive thoughts and positive wishes for the New Year's. I hope that all of you have a fantastic time. And, when you're ready, and, you think, okay, I'm really serious about these live classes and this way of learning Ieelts, you can go to the website and click on this big red button. Join our premium course. It is really a nice gift to give yourself for the New Year's to improve your studies, improve your English, your communication for not just Ieelts, but for life in general. Domenico, Andrew, Dewey, Chayani, thank you to all of the members in this past year. You've been lovely. I hope to have a great 2023 with you. Sarah, thank you for becoming a moderator and helping everybody in the chat. It's huge. And thank you to all of our viewers and subscribers. It's been amazing, and we look forward to an even more productive and more efficient 2023 with you. Again, wishing all of you and your families the best of health, the best of fortune going into 2023. I promise you that I will be here to help you, to guide you on your IELTS journey, whether it's for immigration or for school. If you have questions, just send us an email. We love getting questions. And again, visit us, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. Lots of resources there for you. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world. Keep in mind, you're beautiful people. Never let anybody tell you otherwise. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for now. Bye.